Welcome back. Nifty is flat with the exception of Maruti and Hero Motocorp. Nothing is moving in the auto space. So what is keeping the Nifty afloat? Good old IT and pharma. And as we speak, Dr. Reddy is the biggest gainer on the Nifty. Look at the intraday. This company's got nothing to do with vote on account, next year's assumption, next year's forecasting. But Dr. Reddy is doing well because the sector is doing well. And Ashwini, I think that is the big story. That is the big trend. The event is over, but the trend remains the same.
Well, clearly it's not only Dr. Reddy's, but also Aurobindo Pharma seems to have completed its correction. Biocon seems to be moving higher, and techs are kind of flat to up. Even Bharat Forge post 2 or 3 days of downside is now moving higher. So they're basically those 15 stocks where money is getting attracted. What is extremely clear is that there is no big FII flow which has come in because of vote on account or because of the auto stocks, because of the measures announced there. It's basically the same stocks which are attracting whatever little 300-400 crores that we attract on a daily basis.
Mitesh, Tata Power today is above 4%. Do you think this is just dead cat bounce for Tata Power?
I think the stock has gone through a good correction from levels of 90 plus and then did some base building at 72. It's giving a minor bounce back. I think it can go to about 80, possibly 83, 84 on the upside, which is the 200 average area. So for short-term traders, I think it still makes sense to get into Tata Power, and somebody if wants to buy now should buy with a stop below 75.
All right. Ashwini and Mitesh, thanks for that quick take. We'll of course connect with you again in closing trades, which is going to start in just 8 minutes from now. But I want closing comments from our two macro experts, Maithili Busnurmat and Swaminathan Aiyar, who've been with us over the last couple of hours analysing this budget. Maithili, to you first. Most of corporate India seems to have welcomed this budget. What's your own view? I'm sure you have a contra view. And do you think fundamentally, the structural fault lines in our economy still remain, and the finance minister, if anything, has made the job tougher for the next government?
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more, Sandeep, because I have three main reservations really about today's vote on account. One, it read more like a budget rather than a vote on account. Well, it should have actually been strictly a vote on account, only purely a holding operation, number one. Two, I have serious reservations about the quality of the adjustment, because if you look at the ratio of the revenue deficit to the fiscal deficit, it's actually increased. That means the quality of the adjustment has not been okay. And my third reservation is made life very, very difficult for his successor. I think he's reasonably sure he's not going to be in that hot seat anymore, so he's kind of said, after me the deluge, perhaps.
Okay, Swami, would you agree with Maithili's view that we'll sign off with your view and also your comments on the closing political statement that he made, in a sense, talking about totalitarianism and populism? I'm sure the reference was to a certain Mr. Kejriwal and a certain Mr. Narendra Modi.
Well, I entirely agree with Maithili on the one hand that there are huge structural problems that you have to overcome. I would say one of the things that the next finance minister will have to deal with, I think you need to impose probably a lump sum increase of 5 rupees on the per litre on the price of diesel. That's one of the biggest issues on the fiscal deficit. It is one thing to say that I'm going to give a subsidy for the poor, for the deserving, but these huge subsidies that are going on petroleum products are just not justified. That is one of the huge thing of thorns that has to be grasped. Chidambaram has avoided doing it. He tried to do it by this 50 paisa per month. Just not been enough. He has done nothing further in this thing. So that is, I think, one of the big tasks that are going to await the next person is going to be, you have to do something on these huge fuel subsidies, which are truly unwarranted. Beyond that, he is welcome to make any politicking statements that you like. He can have snide remarks about the opposition. He can have this long list of things also to look at all the great things that I have done. And yet, at the end of it, if you look at what the opinion polls are saying, the remarks they are making about the Congress party are almost unprintable. We have a situation where the opinion polls are saying that the Congress party is going to get the lowest votes, the lowest number of seats in its entire history, and not even 100. We are getting to a situation where, according to some estimates, even the Aam Aadmi party may be getting up not far behind the Congress party. So as I said, he will carry conviction with nobody in his long description of what fantastic things have been done. It is true that we had a period of fast growth, and in some sense the Congress party was rewarded with re-election in 2009. But for what has gone wrong in the last 4 or 5 years, they have not even been able to analyze properly what it is that they went wrong. I mean, they have talked non-stop in the name of Aam Aadmi, Aam Aadmi, Aam Aadmi. Instead, we got the Aam Aadmi going to something else called the Aam Aadmi Party. So the Congress was dying to be the party of the Aam Aadmi. But unfortunately, the scene has been just the opposite way, going to be ousted by something called the Aam Aadmi Party. So there are these deep structural issues.
All right. So the budget or the interim budget, as we may call it, has done little to address the deep structural issues, and there is no election-winning stunt, so to say, from the finance minister. But the numbers on the face of it definitely do look impressive. That's the call from the market and corporate India. We'll of course analyze the budget in greater detail. Maitri will be joining us on Market Hour at 8 o'clock, leading the coverage there. And of course, Swami will be back at 9 o'clock. We've got the verdict with Swaminathan Aiyar on 9 p.m. as well. Thank you so much for joining us all day with our coverage. Of course, we've got Neeraj and Tanveer, who will take forward the action on Agenda 2014. Thanks for watching.
Numbers don't lie, but some of our rivals do. There's only one leader in business news, and that's ET Now, with a commanding market share. Count on the leader, choose the expert. ET Now, India's #1 business news channel.